How's it going? Too Many Mods Garage again. We're on the way to Steve Ellis's shop to get this 10 rib Whipple pulley set up, put on, MFP crank support, and a 3.5 inch pulley with the 20% overdrive lower. Should get it back hopefully tomorrow or the next day. Shouldn't take them all that long to get this put on. Look who I got with me as a co-pilot today.
Hi guys.
What's your name?
Colton.
That's right. It's Colton Paul. It's my son. If you watched the previous episode, you seen I gained quite a bit of horsepower at the Dyno just by putting on a Borla 3-inch exhaust, the catback, over the 2.5 inch axle back. So make sure you check that video out. It'll prove, you know, you can gain considerable amount of horsepower when you're boosted running 3-inch exhaust at least. At least in my case it did. I'm gonna go ahead and let you go, and I'll pick back up when we get there. As some of you have already seen, I have bought t-shirts for my YouTube channel and my 2 project cars. I'm going to be giving away some of these t-shirts randomly to my followers on each video. All you have to do is like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment on the video that you're seeing now for a chance to win. I will pick weekly in the comments on each video. So comment for a chance to win a free t-shirt of your choice. And now back to your regularly scheduled video. All right, we're pulling into Steve's shop. I'll show you real quick where it's at. It's a little business district in Kennedale, I believe. Here's his shop right here. Let's look for the Mustangs. The name of his shop is called Stevenator X, in case anybody is wondering. Steve Ellis is his name, the owner. Alright, so I just got my car back from Steve Ellis, and I'm on the way to Boostly Tune Shop to go dyno it to see if I picked up any more horsepower from not having belt slip. Went from the 6 rib setup to the Whipple 10 rib setup. Pretty much got everything almost all done for now that I can get done before the next Popeye No Time Streetcar Rise of the Beast event. I'll be in the 1 power adder foot brake overdrive class. I'm kind of bummed I didn't get my Suncoast billet converter in before this event. My guess is it'll be here within the next month. This will be a major piece of the puzzle I needed to get that badass 60 foot my car desperately needs. Next thing I will be ordering will be a parachute mount, a parachute handle, and a Stroud parachute. This car is already trapping fast enough in the quarter mile to need one before the 10 rib went on, and it definitely will need one now that the 10 rib is finally on it. It won't have belt slip and it should pick up a lot of horsepower, hopefully. I'm gonna get off here for now, and we'll pick this back up when the Whipple Smurf is strapped down on the dyno. Alright, it's got the car on here, got it all strapped down. With all of my efforts for the past few weeks, I managed to go from 901 rear wheel horsepower with the 2.5-inch Borla S-type catback and the 6 rib setup to the 952 rear wheel horsepower and a total gain of 48 foot-pounds of torque at the wheels with the Borla 3-inch S-type catback along with the Whipple 10 rib setup. It looks like I had a little bit of belt slip on the 6 rib setup, around 4,000 RPMs, 4,500 and 6,500. You can see a slight dip of maybe 10 to 15 horsepower. Getting at least 50 to 60 rear wheel horsepower through the whole power curve will definitely be felt at the track, although it should have been a little bit more, but I'll explain that when I get home. Now I can go over what Steve Ellis and Rob Shoemaker found in my data log of the pull on the dyno. Steve and Rob Shoemaker told me that it has false knock going on, which is causing the timing retard on my car varying from 1 to 2 degrees of timing pretty much through the whole pull, off and on. Rob told me this is basically robbing me of 20 to 30 rear wheel horsepower. If you look to the left cluster of vertical boxes, you will notice one box keeps lighting up red as the RPMs go up and down, and the car isn't even in boost. It was only around 1900 to 2300 RPM. And that would kind of explain why I'm down in horsepower still, even after doing all these mods. Compared to other cars with the same setup, I should be making anywhere between 970 to 1,000 rear wheel horsepower. Alright, it's next morning after getting the dyno done. Couldn't get a cold start. It's like 4 a.m. in the morning, so it's going to start up in quiet mode. Haven't done that yet, so let y'all hear it in quiet mode. Still loud, but here it is. As normal, quietens down. I'm gonna bring y'all with me this morning to talk about the dyno numbers I just posted. And let's go ahead and get in the car, get you mounted up, and we'll start talking again. The dyno numbers that you have seen, don't get me wrong, I'm very grateful for a 50 rear wheel horsepower increase over my baseline at 902 rear wheel horsepower. It was desperately needed improvement to help get this car closer to the ET goals I have set for it with the stock short block. The thing is now, knowing that I have false knock and it's constantly pulling 1 to 2 degrees of timing now, I have to make a decision whether it's something I wish to try and chase down, which can be a major pain in the ass trying to locate it. I have some ideas on where to start looking. Areas mostly around the engine bay, such as my ARH long tube headers, the air conditioning lines on the passenger side where they get super close to the header primary tubes, Also, the AC lines get rather close to the passenger side head as well. Also, all of the interchiller lines that are mounted behind my front bumper. Basically, any place where something metal could be vibrating against any other metallic object in the engine bay could cause this. One part of me desperately wants to find this, as I'd be right at 970 to 980 rear wheel horsepower with the 1 to 2 degrees of timing retard gone. And then there's the other part of me that just wants to enjoy the car as is, let it be, and be happy with what I got. And maybe treat the 1 to 2 degree timing retard as a safety buffer to help keep my stock block together in one piece until I can save up the $12,000 to $13,000 for a sleeved short block from fast forward racing engines. The Popeye No Time event I'll be competing in will be the 1 power adder foot brake no time overdrive class. This is the same class I was in before at Evadale, but this one will be at Texas Motorplex, about 40 miles from my house. I'm a lot more familiar with this track as this is the one I mostly go to. Also have Mustang Week coming up. That's in less than 2 weeks before the Popeye event that me and my wife will be going to in Galveston. If any of you guys are going, message me here on this video. Maybe we could hang out or go to some of these events together. Well, I'm going to wrap this up, and please remember, if you like this content, please like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to click the bell notification icon so you will be notified when I release another video. Thanks. Catch you guys next week. Bye.